Okay, guys, good morning. Um, I'm gonna, I got on a little bit early. I'm just gonna wait a minute, but we're gonna move on to graphing. We just finished up probability. Um, so we're gonna do probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're just gonna focus on charts and graphs. So I'm gonna wait maybe another 30 seconds and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, welcome. Like I mentioned, we're going to move into kind of charts and graphs the next couple of weeks. And the graphs, I'm going to start with the single line graph. We do graphs. There's like a single line graph, there's a bar graph, there's like a circle or pie graph. But I want to start with single line because it's really the most basic. Okay. So whenever you see a graph, I'm going to put one up here. There's going to be there's going to be the Y, which goes up axis, and the X that goes across. Okay. And for this graph, what we're going to look at, it's got the title, and the title is always on the top. Let me move this down a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. So let me put the title on the top. It's going to be thousands of dollars in bank per year. And then we're going to have, like I mentioned, the Y and the X. So what this graph is going to look at is the amount of thousands of dollars in the bank each year. And over on the left over here, so I'm going to say in 1998, we'll say $2,000. So you're going to have year and money. And there might be like a graph like that or a chart. So 1999, say it was $6,000. 2000, there was 1,000. 2001, say 4,000. 2002, there was 3,000. 2003, say 7,000. And the last one, 2004, there's 8,000. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to put this information on the left over here. We're going to put this into a graph. So all this information, I'm going to just circle the red, is going to go into this graph over here. Okay, so I'm going to move this graph over just a bit so we have a little room to work. Remember, we have the Y goes up and X goes across. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the years on the x-axis. You can do it either way, but we're going to start. So if we start over here, we're going to have 1998, 1999, 2000. I'm going to have to make this over a little further. 2001, 2002, and 2003, and 2004. Okay, so those are all the years. And then now what you have to do on the y-axis, we're going to look. So we see the highest figure is $8,000. So we're going to have to go up to about $8,000. So what you want to do, you want to put the years on the bottom. And on the left, we're going to have the money. So we'd start at like 0. And this is thousands of dollars. You just have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you, one more would be 8. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to look at in 1998, the first year, there was $2,000. So we're just going to go up and put a little dot from the year over to 2000. Just so you see where that first dot will go. You don't need to put this box in. I just wanted to show you. So we'll get rid of the box, just have the dot. So 1998, $2,000 in the bank. 1999, there was 6,000. So we do 1999, we'll go up to 6. 2000, there was only $1,000 in the bank. So that's going to go right there. 2001, there was 4,000. So we go 2001, we'll go up to the 4. 2002, 3,000. So it's just a little bit below that. Line it up with the 3. 2003, there was 7,000. So we'll just go up to the 7. In 2004, there was 8,000. So the 8 would be up here. And then all you would do, because it's a line graph, it's just like connect the dots. And that's how the line graph would look. You can see, based on this graph, kind of the money you had in the bank went up and down if that was the case. So in 1999, you had, that was a good year. And then you can see in 2003, 2004, that's when we had the most money in the bank. So you might get a question, in what year did this person have the least amount of money in the bank? And by looking at the graph, you're going to see, I'll circle it in red, 2000 had the least amount of money. And maybe it's going to ask, what year did the person have the most money in the bank? And you're going to see, well, based on the y-axis, it's thousands of dollars in the bank. And I'm going to look at the top and be like, oh yeah, this year, 2004 is when they had the most money in the bank. Okay, so sometimes it might ask you to graph this. Other times it might just give you this graph and ask you questions based on the graph. So really, the really important thing is whenever you see a graph, you guys, is to look at the title. And the title for this one is thousands of dollars in the bank per year. So you're knowing this graph is going to represent thousands of dollars in the bank per year. Okay. And then what you realize you're going to have to do, so a couple things. You're going to look at this and see per year. So you know year is going to be on the graph, and the other one is going to be dollars. So based on this graph, we have years on the bottom on the x-axis here, and the dollars would be on the y-axis. Now we could reverse this and it would make a difference. You can certainly put the years on the y-axis and the dollars down below. would make the graph look a little bit different, but there's no rule saying you have to have, the dollars on the y-axis and the years on the x-axis. We could reverse it and the graph would just look a little bit different, but the information would be exactly the same because you're not changing anything. You're just changing what you put on the x-axis and what you put on the y-axis. So really, a line graph is really, one of the most basic ones we do. And what I'm going to do is I use some basically different figures. But I'm going to put this single line graph up for practice. And then I'm going to put another graph that's already got the information on there. It's already done for you, and you're just going to answer questions based on looking at the graph. Just remember, whenever you see a graph, like I said, the first thing you want to do is look what the title is of the graph. Because the title is going to give you the information that you're looking for. Like this is $1,000, thousands of dollars in the bank per year. That's the title of the graph. So this graph's going to do two things. It's going to look at thousands of dollars in the bank, and it's going to look at it by year. Okay? So you have a pretty good idea what this graph is representing just by looking at the title. And the title's always going to be on the top of the graph. So you see a graph, the title will always be on the top. That's the first thing you want to look at so you know what the information is that you're trying to answer questions on. Okay? And then from there, you basically just have to look at the years down below. Okay, I see how many years was that? 1, 2, 3, 7 years. We graph 7 years worth of money in the bank. So there's 7 years in the bottom. And up the y-axis is the thousands of dollars, starting at 0 up to, and I stopped at 7, but it actually go up to 8. So you're just looking at kind of years and money in the bank. And that's exactly what this title says. It says thousands of dollars in the bank per year. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but you want to make sure when you first see a graph, you look at the title. Because the title is going to give you all the information you need to know about the graph. Okay, so this is a line graph. This is one of the most basic ones we're going to do. So I'll post both. There's going to be 2 worksheets. One, you're going to have to do what I just did, okay? And the other one is going to ask you to answer questions, about interpreting the graph. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.